afternoon. It's not on the screen. Yeah. Um, this is a very important conversation. I know there are very few people here, but those of us present, you can come to the front, or maybe you can be actively interacting from from yours wherever you are. We really have to have a conversation on this topic, adolescent sexual reproductive health. Don't you think so? Yes, panelists are here. Dr. Ashutosh, Dr. Madam Rashmi Divedi, and Dr. Sinita Madam. We all, many of us off this stage are also working on this issue. And we strongly believe, I think we all strongly believe that we need lot of conversation, lot of discussions, lot of talk openly without any stigma, without any shame, and very scientifically we need to talk about this to our young people. Extremely important. So, just show me this. Movement. Yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah. Nidra, bata. It's not moving. इसको बताना है. Yeah. So we had in our panel, I think we are missing Dr. Suchitra, who's my colleague and professor at Nulofa Hospital, Hyderabad. And in fact, I wanted her to moderate this session, but because she had a flight to take, she had to miss this session. And she's very interested. She's the secretary of Hyderabad chapter of our AHA, and she's really a very dedicated person. Now, of course, this is, we'll directly go to the topic for want of time. All the panelists have been introduced. They're very senior people. Yeah, we all know that adolescence is a change. A lot of changes happen during this age. Physical, cognitive, behavioral, psychosocial changes happen. And there's actually increasing autonomy, increased sense, they want to find their identity, and they want their independence. And so developmentally, this stage is not actually, they have physical maturity quite early, but the cognitive and the mental aspects come little late. And the behavior also goes accordingly. High risk behavior happens because they want to explore the world, and they don't have brakes. There's a speeding car without brakes. The life skills are not yet developed. They do not have the good decision making, time management, etc. So with this aspect, especially when it comes to sexuality and reproductive health, and this has a lot of implications. When the physical maturity is coming up quite early, even 8-9 years, we saw Dr. C.P. Bansal sir mentioning yesterday that we should talk about pre-adolescence, or maybe call adolescence starting from 8 years onwards, because puberty is setting in quite early now. So it is not 10 years. I think we should start talking from 6, 7, 8, 9 years. So अगर 8 साल से बात करेंगे, physical maturity आ गई है. Do you think that 8 साल का बच्चा कुछ समझता है what is sex, intercourse, या कुछ physical intimacy, relationships, इसके बारे में क्या जानकारी उसको है? So how are they getting this knowledge? What are the problems? I think more talking has to happen around this. Yeah. So we all know about these factors. What are the various factors impacting our SRH issues in adolescence? So it is very, very multifactorial. And this has implications, as I said, risky behavior, unmet needs are there. They may be having, attractions, and they have feelings, opposite sex attractions, same sex attractions, all these relationship issues they want to explore. That is their need because of the physical pubertal changes. Hormones are kicking in, testosterone, estrogen. Don't you think this all happened to all of us? It all happened to all of us, but we maybe because of fear or more structured environment, and we didn't have more things to avenue. There were not many of risk factors for us. We somehow came out safely. But for our children who are exposed to the internet, exposed to not having anybody to talk to, just small families, and this is really becoming a big, big problem. So we need to really talk about this, and actually it helps us into long term to prevent STIs, unwanted pregnancy, HIV, and even rapes and sexual violence. Now this is just an intro. Now Madam Dr. Sunita, I would like to request you just to answer with rising STIs, sexually transmitted infection rates globally, it is rising. How do we strengthen prevention, testing, and treatment of this sexually transmitted among youth? I'm directly coming to this STIs. Do we ever talk about infections when we talk about other infections, respiratory? वो उसके बारे में बहुत comfortable हैं हम लोग. कितने सारे modules हैं respiratory tract infections के ऊपर. But do we have anything on STIs? We should also talk about reproductive tract infections. Over to you, Sunita. How, why, how can we strengthen this program?
Hello, am I audible? Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you, ma'am, for asking me this very important question. So I would just put it into a very quick and brief is like prevention. But for the prevention, as ma'am has said, conversation to karni padegi. Otherwise, to aage kuch hoga hi nahi. Prevention point of view, say the most important is that comprehensive sexuality education. This is very, very important. Debates has been there. We all stakeholders have to come forward to get this done at various levels, at schools, etc. That is the first and foremost important thing. Along with that, we as a pediatrician, we know that vaccination we have to stress upon, hepatitis B and HPV vaccination. And another important is when we giving them comprehensive sexuality education. Nowadays, as we all know, कहते हैं ना वो situation different है. It is not like the way we were a couple of years ago. Now premarital sex is also coming due to whatever our cultures changes, and that is rapidly coming up. So we have to talk about that these availability, access to the barrier methods and condoms has to be, we should think about all these things. And then along with that, of course, awareness at every point is important. And it comes to the testing, it is very important that confidentiality should be there. And as we all know that the students are, privacy concern are there. So we should bring up some apps, etc., where they can do it, or they can write down their symptoms and then they can get an idea and what next action of plan should be there. So technology use of, again, awareness, and along with awareness, the clinic should be available. And as ma'am has already empowered you, the program has been done, which is empowering the youth, which is an important program. We should all carry forward in various schools also. So this will things, and along with that, RKSK guidelines are there, if you can have an idea. They also tell not only the person himself, but by non-judgmental way and counseling, we should ask them that bring the partner also. That will be the testing part. And treatment, of course, we have various algorithms that we should follow. And most important, as I said, the partner's involvement, peer education, and means once we are educating them, availability also has to be done. So I think then we can.
Thank you, Sunita. So actually the treatment STIs के बारे में थोड़ा सा बात करना चाहिए. हम लोग कितने लोग pediatricians sexually transmitted infections के लिए पूछते हैं? We don't even ask them if they're sexually active, because we never been trained how to ask them they are sexually active. So HEADS criteria, HEADDS में आता है, psychosocial history taking, how to ask these intimate questions or sensitive questions. So after you develop a good rapport with privacy and confidentiality, only with the adolescent has trust in you, you will open up. It is important to ask about their sexual contacts, if they had any partners or any experience. At least teach them. It's not only idea of only, of course we'll tell them, भाई अब sexually active मत हो ना, ये सब चाहते हैं, all elders want कि शादी तक नहीं होना है. लेकिन आजकल बच्चे, they are becoming sexually active even before marriage. This is the real fact, whether we like it or not. Maybe they don't even tell you, but reported data, even just reported data, many are not reported. They are sexually active. So let us talk about how to prevent and save sexual behavior. And infections कैसे identify करना है और treat करना is very, very important. Madam Rashmi, Madam, what innovative community-based models have successfully improved STI awareness and testing uptake?
Thank you, Madam, for asking me that question. There have been many innovative measures in the field which have really affected this. The first thing is the community and peer education, which is focusing on female sex workers and MSM. And here the key methods are peer education and planning, micro-planning and outreach clinics referrals are done. The outcomes have been very good. There has been elimination of curable STIs, and they have also sustained clinic attendance. The second community project which has been done is under public-private funding. Maitri model is a example of that. Here again, the female sex workers, MSM, and transgender people have been the targets. They have been targeted. And here, what happens is after hours of clinics are being run, stigma removal has been done and reduction has been done. Training and integrated STI services have been taken, and this has increased the access to the service centers. It has reduced discrimination and improved STI care updates. The third intervention in the community which has been done is targeted awareness and stigma reduction campaigns. Here the high-risk groups are the target and the general population, and the methods which have been used are localized IEC, behavior changes, and mobile health tools. This has enhanced the STI knowledge and testing and has helped in stigma reduction. And a fourth and very important tool, which is in today's time very important, is digital virtual outreach, which has been done for urban MSMs and youth population. And this has again online risk assessment and counseling is done here, and linkage to the testing centers is provided. And this has also again improved the reach and the engagement in the virtual network by the youth and the urban population.
Thank you, Rashmi ji. I just want to ask the audience, how many of us know that we have STI clinics in our hospitals? At least the government sectors have STI clinics. I can see 3 people, 4, 5, yeah. So why don't we refer this? This is called Suraksha clinics. I don't know, different names are given in different states, but these clinics are there. Reproductive tract infections के लिए, STIs के लिए clinics run कर रहे हैं, where all this confidentiality, all those things are followed, and it is just symptomatic based. उनको कोई adolescents के लिए especially they don't do any deep examination and all that. Just symptoms पूछते हैं, और they have combination kits. Kit 2 is the most common, the white discharge. They will give combination of cefixime and other drugs are there. So I think we all have to be aware and at least refer them to those clinics if you get in your practice. So, Madam, thank you for giving us. There are models, there are people who are doing all this. These infections ke liye, there are programs running. At least our pediatricians and AHA should know about all this. So, Dr. Ashutosh, moving on, much of our sexual health education actually focuses around girls. How can we better include adolescent boys in the conversation? हम लोग है ना, this year we're focusing on the boys.
Yeah, definitely.
Double Kishore module में भी
though our society is a male-dominated society, but still then the sexual education on girls is most important because they are more susceptible to exploitation, sexual exploitation, teenage pregnancy, everything occurs on girls. That's why more importance is given on girls. But if we do not include the boys, then they will get some misinformation from media, from everywhere, and they will not be acquainted with all these things. So this male and female, the boy and girl, they should be given at a time the same education, and conversation should be for both genders at a time. Key topics where it should cover the pubertal changes, consent, what is consent, they should understand what is consent, and contraception, respect, emotions, and all these things has to be taught together in one session. Teachers, doctors, mentors should be the male role model, and number one, I have missed it, number one is father. Father is the first role model of a boy. Then peer groups, sports, media has to be involved. They should be engaged in the conversation, so a group of boys can learn at a time. Discussion should be confidential. That is also more important, because in our society, stigma is a major thing. We do not talk about sex. That is a very, very thing in our society. So we have to abolish that stigma. So discussion should be confidential, otherwise no boys will tell you anything. Parental guidance and policies should focus equally on son and daughter. So both should be equally treated. Thank you, madam.
Thank you. For all the panelists, want to ask one question. How can schools and youth programs become safe spaces for boys to learn and ask questions about the sexual health? So, kahan pe, can we create some spaces for the boys? Girls ke liye menstrual hygiene is some entry point. We do take a lot of sessions, especially the women pediatricians take sessions on menstrual cycle, menstrual hygiene. But boys ke liye kuch programs hai, कुछ कहीं पे space है where they can speak.
I have an experience of having a adolescent workshop for doctors, and where we had called some adolescent children from a school. And I was really surprised, whatever we think that this is a taboo for them or they don't know anything about there, on a public platform where the boys and girls both were present, boys asked very freely about masturbation, and one of the girls asked the question, do females also have masturbation, and what are the various methods of contraception? So whatever blockage is there, my feeling is whatever blockage is there, because it's not my feeling, it's been my experience, because I have been dealing with adolescents since the year 2000, running a center, Dishai, in my medical college, and I have seen that they come out very openly and they ask. So when we talk about privacy also for adolescent, I saw that they were I mean, very, very frank in having these kinds of opinions and asking questions, both the boys and girls. Second experience I had of conducting a session in a co-ed education school. And this was again a government school. The other one was private, this one was a government school. So government schools also, when I was conducting the session, and what I said to them was that we are not talking on sex as a verb, we are talking as sex in the noun. And I think this sex word is the word which should be replaced by reproductive hygiene or reproductive health. Because when we talk about reproductive health, it includes the sexual education also. But the community has a very distorted understanding of the word sex. They just think about it as a act, but it is not only an act, it is a comprehensive thing. And that is why I don't think I have seen boys also and girls also in a co-ed school asking questions freely from us, the people who had gone to tell them. We had thought we'll talk about nutrition, we'll talk about what are the physical changes, but they came up with this topic.
I think the message is clear that we should create spaces. If they are there, fine. If they are not there, I don't think they are there for the boys so freely. So I think we should create spaces, somebody whom they can trust, whom they can have we have to create some youth counselors or some people in the schools or in the homes also should be the same places, but at least in schools and colleges bhi hona chahiye. So where they have a space to talk. Thank you, madam. Now, this is a teen promise project, and which was paid way to conference sexuality education. The primary goal of some of the programs have been done earlier. It was twofold: to reduce the, we also have the same, the agenda to prevent the STIs, teenage pregnancies and high-risk behaviors. And this public health program encompasses all these aspects. Ma'am, you want to cover this, somebody? And lifestyle education awareness program, SRH issues. So it's a very interesting program. There are other 2-3 programs, the dial a doctor program. ये सब कहीं हो रहा है. I think now we need to talk about our own program. AHS Driving the Wave 18 program, the Youth Wellness program, and the Naval Kishore program, where 2 programs have been developed by, modules have been developed by AHA this year. I urge all the pediatricians, we have done a lot of TOTs on this. So all the slides, the PPTs will be available to those TOTs. I request them to cascade down to all these city branches, the peripheral pediatricians, to take this, these slides could be helpful for them, to take these sessions in the community. Dr. Sunita, despite available contraceptive use, I mean the use of the contraceptive is very low in certain, most of the adolescents. So what are the barriers, what are the significant issues and how we can overcome this?
Yeah. Slide please, ma'am. So it is again, if we think about it, we have to handle it at various levels. First of all, the knowledge and awareness. What we have to do, which is already we have talked about, that we have to reach to them, we have to do conversation in a structured, formal and non-formal. And non-formal means school programs and Wave 18 programs and other things. Yeah. So we have to create knowledge. Sometimes, they say कि ज़्यादा पढ़ाएंगे इनको सेक्स के बारे में तो ये करना शुरू कर देंगे. But evidence says that it is opposite. that when they are taught, at least they will practice. वो कर तो रहे ही है ना. So knowledge is one. Second is access and availability. Now we say knowledge हम schools में दे के आते हैं. अब problem है तो they should, where should they come? So we have to, that is the barrier. अब वो they can't, ask for it, where to buy, and then they feel shy about it because they don't want to come to the hospital. So for that we have to enhance access. How do we do that? By having youth-friendly clinics, specifically if we can have it at the clinic, and similarly we have at another these kinds of clinics or at schools also, because then only if the things are we have given them the knowledge, and then that knowledge has to be implemented, that they have to use it, then it has to be made available in a private setting and in a non-judgmental way. They can come easily. Third is social and cultural barriers definitely are there. Like, it is not only that we have to just think about teenagers. There is another group also. We were in one of the World Health conferences. There one of the, it was a talk about transgender, sorry. So they said, hamari ye problem hai. And one of the persons stand up and said, sir, kitna incidence hai? The answer from them was, कि अगर हमें incidence नहीं पता तो क्या हम exist नहीं करते हैं. So we have to have social and culture. सिर्फ boys girls नहीं है. Exploitation and all these sexual health related issues are more in homosex, means these category also. Then there is another category, disabled children. उनका भी सोचना पड़ेगा. So ऐसे करके society में we have to think about these barriers as well, and then accordingly need based activities करनी पड़ेंगी. One of the involvement in the Wave 18 program, I think Youth Ambassador was in one of the program, and he talked about his history. He was a kind of son of a doctor. Still he faced so many problems. So वो भी एक issue हो जाएगा. Another thing is health system, again policy things. We have to think about the POXO, which is, I do not want to go into detail, which I think we have to take in. The last come things, in one of the conferences, when I come across, now the kids are, there is a one stage when they don't ask. Another is when they are asking for sex toys also, because now they are living alone. So we have to have come up with that also.
Yeah. I just want to ask the audience, how many of you feel that comfortable to talk about contraceptives with adolescents? It's a high-end question. हम लोग sexuality में नहीं पहुँचे अब contraception. So I was just wondering कि हमने को बोल, do you think that is a necessary knowledge? जैसे first question वही था. Don't you? Do you think we all agree that we should give this knowledge? AHA should give knowledge about contraception to adolescents. Yeah, please. Yes, yes. So please बताइए how to be safe. अभी बताना, of course we don't want them to be active, that we all know. 18 years legal age है, वो भी बताना है उनको. बट फिर भी अगर वो एक्सीडेंटली कभी कभी एक्सप्लोर कर लेते हैं तो एटलीस्ट उनको पता तो चले कॉन्डोम एक चीज़ है, कैसे यूज़ करना है, और कभी हो भी गया ऐसे एक्सीडेंटली तो इमरजेंसी कॉन्ट्रासेप्शन भी है. वाई दे शुड गो थ्रू एन अनवांटेड प्रेगनेंसी? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल गिव देम कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव एजुकेशन. उनको पता होना चाहिए देयर ओवुलेटिंग स्पर्म्स है, एक्सचेंज ऑफ बॉडी फ्लूइड्स में कंसेप्शन हो सकता है, बेबी फॉर्म हो सकता है, ये उनको पता ही नहीं है. They don't know. We only keep telling about menstrual hygiene. We don't talk about ovulation and their sperms there and the intercourse through that act, exchange of fluids, sperms, ovum unite. ये baby कैसे form होता है, कभी अभी तक उनको काफ़ी सालों तक पता नहीं चलता है. Even our own doctors कभी कभी मैं interactive session पूछती हूँ, आपको कब पता चला? तो वो लोग बोलते हैं second year medicine में पता चला, most of the time physiology session में. So I mean, it's too late, but that time, I think children should know, and it is right for knowledge. उनको आजकल के दुनिया में वैसे भी उनको पता चलता है through some other things, but a scientific body बोलेगी तो अच्छा रहेगा. So we should take this agenda forward and also talk about contraception. And madam, now how do we know? I'm just looking at youth engagement. How do we effectively engage the youth on conception awareness or contraception awareness?
There are different ways and there are different groups also. So when we are dealing with group and couple based sessions, there the target groups are couples and peer, and here the key methods or the components will be culturally tailored workshop, risk reduction education, and the outcome will be increased condom use and reduced risky behaviors. As far as adolescent, next slide please. As far as adolescent is concerned, in the early adolescent, that is 10 to 14 years, we should be talking to them about the basics of body changes, puberty, respect for self and others, importance of waiting for their conception decisions, or the communication style should be very simple, clear and non-technical in a very reassuring way. And for this we can use school sessions, animated videos, storybooks, interactive games, and monitored social media group. In the mid-adolescent period, that is 15 to 17 years, we can talk to them on understanding what is conception, how does it occur, what is the need for contraceptions, the basics of consent, healthy relationships, and delaying pregnancy. And here the mode of communication could be as for the respectful, for age appropriate, the myth busting should be there, and encourage sessions and dialogue. This is the age where you can have a Q&A, and they put up very good questions, and you can answer to the point whatever their query is. And this could be done in peer-led workshops, WhatsApps or Telegram groups, youth clubs, Instagram and social media platforms. For older adolescent and young adults, contraception, family planning options, reproductive rights, access to reproductive health services and life planning are the messages which have to be focused upon. And here we have to use a direct, empowering method, fact-based, and address common concerns and barriers. This can be done through mobile apps, YouTube, webinars, telehealth, SMS reminders, etc.
Thank you, madam. There's so many ways. We have only 3 minutes to go. We need to hurry up with the next questions, ma'am. So Dr. Ashutosh, very crisp replies because 3 minutes only.
Yeah.
So what role can technology, telemedicine, we already, I think, discussed about play with spreading accurate, accessible, again, I think we have already covered
yeah,
this.
definitely,
So I would like to
definitely
skip-
in the modern era of artificial intelligence, social media is a very good media, and awareness through campaign, video infographics we can do, YouTube, वगैरह, will correct myth and misconception in the public through social media can be done, peer learning, open discussion can be done. In mobile app, cycle tracking and the contraceptive reminder can be sent to individual persons and girls, and it can be personalized and reliable information can be given. Anonymous access to all, many apps are there. And in telemedicine, the number one interesting thing is that there is a confidential online consultation is possible in telemedicine.
Yeah, I'll
and
just-
access in underserved areas we can do, and prescription follow-up also can be done, and ensure privacy and reduce the barrier in telemedicine.
Now,
So-
for all, yeah, I'll just cut it short, just 2 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So I think we need to also cover preconception care, which is often overlooked. And we have to talk about it to the young adults about how to prepare themselves for conception. And this is actually, we need to tell them to screen themselves of chronic infections, and if they're obese, check their BMI and take care of their lifestyle, take care of the nutrition, micronutrients, especially folic acid, all medications if they're taking any, you have to take whether they have any risk factors, genetic issues. ये कुंडली देखते रहते हैं, but कभी genetic का भी देखिए कि are you carrying this, some carrier states are there, so that you don't give this to your progeny. Then substance abuse, even alcohol, even a little bit of alcohol is not. This should be all started how many months before? Mental health issues. You need to first you need to be fit mentally, physically, and even environmental hazards, all this should be taken care of.
And I will
before
add,
we-
madam, one HPV vaccine.
Sure, sure. Yeah. So that will,
should
because I really want to speak about this preconception care as because we were initiated guidelines on this. It has come published in our Indian Pediatrics. Let us talk about this to our young adults 3-4 months before they want to conceive. Whether it's girl and boy, it's not only for the girl. Boys also should be off alcohol, smoking, because the sperm quality affects. Radiation, kitna mobile idhar hi rakhte hain side mein. So radiation, environmental hazards, all will can havoc. Madam, we need to rush through. I think you want to just cover this very soon.
Yeah, so taboos have an impact on other things. So what we can do is by talking to them, See, everything, when we talk transparently, for example, if I am comfortable talking about using certain words, then the adolescent or the youth also feels very, very confident and then ask counter questions. So at one of the workshops, one person was telling, we do not use the word masturbation when we go to the fields. So I said, why don't you use, because I feel a little apprehended about it.
Madam,
But if we can use it, then they will be, it will be easy for them to use.
I think
So
we'll have
taboos
to-
we are to remove when we remove our own, we have a free mind and we remove our mental taboos.
Yeah, just campaign PCC. I can just read these slides.
Yeah, ma'am,
Yeah,
I
just
think
1 minute.
this is
And we need
self-explanatory.
to have a big campaign for the
Yeah.
preconception care. It can be at the college level itself, and it can be, counseling PCC clinics can be started. It's a very visionary thing, but somebody should start a preconception care clinics also. Why not? And guidelines are already there how to do it, and they should be, of course, culturally accepted. All that, and gaps in health policy. Madam, actually, just one line about it, not one line.
The major gap which occurs is transition in the charges when the IAS officers are transferred, when the ministers, health minister's charge is given to some other person. So
Sustaining.
whatever scheme goes up, comes down. So I think the major gap in our health system is this only, that there is no consistency in the charges which have been given to the IAS people and to the ministries. That
Yeah.
has to be
so
done.
let us all advocate for continuing any programs. I leave with a key message. I think it's a very one of the most important topics, SRH. There's so much to discuss about it, but we just touched upon certain issues which are not covered in our routine talks. We spoke about the contraception, we spoke about preconception care, we spoke about youth engagement. Thank you so much. I think it is important to create a safe and comfortable environment for our youth, where they can come and speak to us openly without being judged. We should be non-judgmental, especially we are very sensitive. We also have some, अरे इसका character ऐसा है वैसा है, ये छोटी बच्ची इतने question डाल रही क्या है, बहुत smart है. We are sometimes very judgmental. Let us open up. Let us be little respect even our young ones who have lot of questions to ask. किसको पूछेंगे? पेरेंट्स को नहीं पूछ सकते, वो तो डांट लगा देंगे, मार देंगे, एकदम झापड़ लगा देंगे कि पढ़ने की उम्र है क्या कर रही हो. एंड किसको? टीचर्स, अरे पढ़ाई पढ़ाई पढ़ाई. कहाँ पे जाएंगे? सोशल मीडिया पे जा रहे हैं बस. So let AHA, pediatricians all come to the rescue of our young people. Give them spaces where they can come and talk. We all have to be empowered before how to reach out. If you are not knowing how to deal with sexuality, कैसे बात करें, कैसे उनको हम actually deal कर सकते हैं. So we all have to be comfortable. We need to be empowered first and be honest. Start discussing all these issues. Involve everybody. And maybe you can take help of gynecologists. School should be an important place where then such things can happen. Of course, nothing like home. Let us enter the parenting also section. Parents को भी empower करें how to speak on sexuality. Thank you so much. Our युवा needs it. And why not? They are also saying हमको पूछना है, हमको समझना है. Please बोलिए. We all have to come to their rescue and help them. Please empower our युवा on sexual matters also. Don't leave them behind. Thank you.
Thank you.